Kazakhstan has chosen the multi-vector integration. Its trends, collisions and prospects are coming up in the single market program.
Hello, my name is Pavel Koktышев and you're watching Single Market. Around 70% of Kazakhstan's territory are regions with a predominant number of sunny days. On average, this is 2,500 hours annually, and the potential of this energy is assessed at 1,600 kilowatt-hours per square meter. But for now, solar energy has not been harnessed to its full potential, even though the country has all the necessary resources for this, including production capacities. Oksana Trofimova brings us the story. Kazakhstan is one of the 5 countries which has a closed cycle of production of solar batteries, from silicon extraction to manufacturing of photoelectric modules. This became possible thanks to the rich resource base. The country has 65 million tons of high-grade quartz and 267 million tons of quartzite. That is why our country is not just a big exporter of first-stage processed silicon, but also a producer of photoelectric panels. In 2013, on Astana's left bank, not far from the Nazarbayev University, a plant specializing in the production of solar panels started its operations. This enterprise became the first in Kazakhstan to specialize in photoelectric modules manufactured using domestically produced silicone, CAS-PV. The project was realized using public investments, and considering its specificities, the national company, Kazakhstan, was the first to become the owner of this plant. I'm often asked the question, who uses these modules? I answer, probably countries, the governments of which care about their citizens. This answer must be considered while bearing in mind 2 important factors. First of all, thanks to this project, a vertically integrated production cycle was created in Kazakhstan's silicon industry, from silicon extraction to assembly of photoelectric modules. Second of all, the project design of the new enterprise fully meets the standards of green economy. The plant complex uses not just solar energy, but also wind energy. There are also thermal pump units with a capacity of 150 kilowatts. And finally, the most important, the enterprise manufactures products that make a contribution to the development of the energy sector, which uses renewable energy resources. Today, around 40 solar energy stations that use the modules of this enterprise operate on the territory of Kazakhstan. These include the station in the city of Kapchagay with a capacity of 2 megawatt. 16 panels of Astana Solar were tested here in trial mode.
Панели отечественного производства показали свою высокую эффективность.
The domestically produced panels showed high efficiency, and during sunny days, despite the fact that these are polyelectric panels, they show higher power capacity than panels that were imported from Europe.
Чем те панели, которые были привезены из Европы.
According to the monitoring results, Kazakhstan's polycrystal module demonstrated a level of efficiency that is 5% higher in comparison with analogous European monocrystal modules. For the sake of objectivity, we have to mention that some opponents are skeptical of the prospects of polycrystal technology. According to their opinion, today it is still behind monocrystal technology, and here Her Majesty the Economy intervenes with a legitimate argument such as the optimal correlation of price and quality.
Это, если считать со стороны экономиста, это золотая середина.
This is the golden mean. Polycrystal is much more accessible in terms of required technology and less expensive than monocrystals. All we need to use is a monocell, and the cost of the model becomes higher.
Ячейку. Стоимость модуля будет выше, чем возможно.
Today, every 2 minutes, a new photoelectric module comes fresh off this production line. It has 2 standard sizes, for 60 and for 72 cells.
У меня в руках так называемая фотоэлектрическая ячейка.
I'm holding a so-called photoelectric cell, which was made out of silicone and will be the main element in the photoelectric module.
Помогающим элементом для фотоэлектрического модуля.
The capacities of the enterprise allow to annually produce more than 127,000 modules with a total capacity of 50 megawatts. At the same time, there is the capability to increase the capacities twofold in a short period of time. Taking into account the technical parameters of the technology, the main consumers will be owners of houses, townhouses, and farmers. Unfortunately, a culture of buying renewable energy resources has not yet been established in Kazakhstan, even though the country does have the legislative framework within which such power sources are included into the unified energy grid system. In addition, the government is providing incentives for using renewable energy resources by offering partial compensation for the costs. If you have, for example, a farm, which is in a remote location and does not have access to centralized power resources, then there is a 50% reimbursement. The plant is not going to hold back in its development. The near future plans include becoming one of the largest producers of solar panels on the territory of the Eurasian Economic Union. We are already working closely with Russia. There is a solar power station in the city of Narimanovo. We recently shipped our modules to the city of Novosibirsk. World experience has shown the efficiency of using energy resources that are environmentally friendly. These enterprises do not just contribute to the budget of the country, but also facilitate the introduction of principles of green economy into very diverse spheres. For example, the use of solar panels can promote distant pasture cattle grazing, which experts of UNDP believe to be a progressive form of husbandry and a worthy heritage of the civilization of the nomads. And Kazakhstan's enterprise will present this potential at the International Expo exhibition in Astana. The pharmaceutical industry, a sector of the economy which always manages to stay afloat. When it comes down to health, people will try to save on anything except medicinal products and treatment. And the state can also cut back on any kind of expenses, but not those which are connected with the procurement of essential pharmaceutical products. Maria Kuznetsova visited an enterprise which is always focused on further development. In 2012, a symbolic event happened on Kazakhstan's pharmaceutical market. Turkey's biggest pharmaceutical company, Abdi Ibrahim, acquired 60% of the shares of Global Farm. As a result of this deal, Kazakhstan's enterprise got a new plan for its development. However, to be consistent, it is worth mentioning that the whole story of the enterprise is connected with uninterrupted development. The enterprise Global Farm appeared on Kazakhstan's pharmaceutical market in 2000 thanks to cooperation with the South Korean company Hanseo Farm. The first batch of products was released in 2002 and it included 4 different types of medicinal products. In 2011, the range of pharmaceutical products was expanded to 100 types. The enterprise has developed the manufacturing of medicinal products in tablet and capsule form intended for the treatment of a number of illnesses. The most active demand for medical products produced at this enterprise was observed in segments such as endocrinology, gastroenterology, and physiology. Over this period of time, the enterprise managed to occupy its own niche on Kazakhstan's market. In addition, the moment has come when it became obvious that for the next stage of growth, new resources are needed: financial, technological, and managerial. And they can only be obtained from a big investor. The investor should be a person or a company which has specialized for many years in the production of pharmaceutical products. This is first. Second of all, the investor should have experience in the construction of plants and GMP standard production. The choice was made in favor of the company Abdi Ibrahim. The Turkish company Abdi Ibrahim commenced its history in 1912. Initially, it was a small pharmacy in Istanbul. The company opened its first pharmaceutical plant in 1919, and today they are one of the most renowned producers in the world. Abdi Ibrahim exports its products to more than 50 countries, including to the markets of countries that are considered to be the leading suppliers of medicinal products to the world's markets. This is a company which engages in licensed production with big companies, the biggest multinational companies. They establish their production using their platforms. Within the framework of the agreement with the Turkish company, the following aims were considered: realization of a plant construction project in the Almaty region, technology transfer, expansion of the range of pharmaceutical products, and introduction of GMP standards. The launch of the Abdi Ibrahim Global Farm Company's new plant took place in 2015, within the framework of a teleconference with the participation of the country's president. It is a great honor for me to present you the new modern plan for export-oriented production of pharmaceutical products, all in compliance with GMP standards. The total territory of the plant is 20,000 square meters. Of this territory, production areas occupy a territory of 11,600 square meters. Thanks to the launching of this enterprise, the company's production capacity increased to 1.5 billion pills and capsules annually, and the production line was expanded to 200 product items. We have certain areas of development which allow us to ensure the growth of the enterprise. What's more, our plans include a step-by-step increase in production volumes, introduction of new technologies, and development of export channels. Today, this plant, aside from the wide range of medicinal products, also manufactures treatment for patients suffering from tuberculosis, type 2 diabetes, and HIV. Throughout this year, the range of products will also include treatment for hepatitis C. Taking into account the social significance of the illnesses mentioned before, the state has concluded an agreement on a government order with this enterprise. In 2014, we signed a long-term agreement on the supply of medicinal products to the government in the amount of 108 product items. To this day, we have managed to set up the production of 40 product items, which, in accordance with this agreement, we will be supplying in 2017. The pharmaceutical plant managed to be chosen for the government order thanks to the high quality level of their products, which are guaranteed by the conditions of the production process. There is very tight control on all stages of the production process, from the receipt of the substance to the packaging of the medicinal products. The enterprise has 3 laboratories: physics and chemistry, microbiology, and a laboratory for internal production control. Our laboratories have all the necessary equipment and measuring devices. Our equipment comes from Germany, Japan, and Turkey. The obtainment of a GMP standard certificates attests to the quality of products. This means that the conditions in which pharmaceutical products are manufactured meet the requirements of international rules of production quality and safe products. Not just raw materials, manufacturing materials and products are thoroughly controlled, but also the production environment. This includes the water that is used, air, equipment, and the personnel of the enterprise. Before being shipped to consumers, the final products undergo a compulsory procedure of evaluation of safety and quality conducted by an official government entity. With this certificate, the products of this company can be unimpededly exported to the countries of the Eurasian Economic Union, because GMP standards will become a sort of a pass for medical products to the single pharmaceutical market of the member countries of the Economic Union. Today, the products of Abdi Ibrahim Global Farm are shipped to Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, and Kyrgyzstan. Aside from the establishment of shipment channels to the countries of the Eurasian Economic Union, the prospective future entails entering the markets of Georgia, Afghanistan, and the countries of Eastern Europe. Therefore, the presence of the word combination Global Farm in the name of the company is most certainly not an exaggeration. It is justified by the global plans of the enterprise. Maria Kuznetsova, Anatoly Valuysky, Almaty region, exclusively for single market. In terms of volumes of extraction of precious metals, Kazakhstan is not in the lower ranks in the world. Volumes of extracted gold, 18th position, silver, 12th. It would seem that the country should also be in solid positions in terms of manufacturing of jewelry products. However, the share of this sector in the country's GDP is so small that it is not even worth mentioning. At the same time, the main volume of 30% is manufactured by a veteran player on this market, Jewelery. Does this mean that other producers have absolutely no chances of carving out their niche? Natalia Romanenko brings us the story of an enterprise that managed to find a worthy place under the sun. 90% of jewelry products on Kazakhstan's market are imported. Therefore, a large share of accessories made out of precious metals are supplied by foreign companies. This information is widely known. However, few people in Kazakhstan know that the country has its own production of jewelry products, which are the trademark of Kazakhstan. We're talking about souvenir accessories of a premium class, intended as gifts to officials who arrive to the country within the framework of a diplomatic mission. This is the segment in which Kazakhstan's company Marconi specializes. They produce around 300 jewelry products annually, and someone who is not familiar with the intricacies of the production process, this may seem as insignificant. But if we take into account the target consumer base, then the production volume is actually absolutely normal. Our products are bought as presents in more than 100 countries of the world for high-level officials of states, presidents, prime ministers, emperors and sheikhs. The director of the company, Mikhail Ratner, by profession is a financial expert. That is the position he filled for a long time in the jewelry business. In 2001, he decided to establish his own enterprise. The skill for capital management and knowledge of the details of the jewelry business helped him develop a good business plan and carve out his niche on the market. We have a narrow focus. This is not mass production. It's mostly for the luxury segment. We're putting an emphasis on original design, and in principle, this is justified. And first and foremost, it is justified from the perspective of the aesthetic value of these products. Value added is created here precisely thanks to the original approach. By the way, in the jewelry business, there are two types of design, commercial and aesthetic. The first is used for mass production. The second for the production of single-piece items when a master creates a true work of art. And in this case, the master's approach is more as an artist.
Бұл жерде әрине бірінші ойдан туындайды бүкіл жұмыстың бәрі, композициялық туындылар. Әрине бірінші жұмыс жеңіл болу үшін арнайы мына пластилиннен саз балшықтан жасалады.
My work starts with an idea, and I first bring this idea to life using plasticine or clay. And then I cast the obtained model in special wax. The wax is the type with which it is very convenient to work, especially for the designs with many details.
Жұмыс жасауға ыңғайлы. Әсіресе мына өте детальный жұмыстар соған қолайлы восктар жасаған.
And only after this, the model is cast in metal. If the item is made out of bronze, then there is additionally added a layer of gold or other precious metal. It is not possible to plan how many items will be manufactured for two reasons. First of all, everything depends on the number of orders, and second of all, the intricacies of the creative process need to be taken into account, where a lot depends on the master's inspiration.
Я сейчас делаю браслет вот из камней.
At the moment, I'm making a bracelet out of the labradorite stone, and this is the silver clasp. Almost every item is unique because it is exclusive. This bracelet is also one of its kind.
Вроде такой браслет.
Unfortunately, we do not know about the fate of this bracelet or of the other items. This is because some orders come from public officials, others from companies, and yet others from private individuals. The enterprise delivers a share of its products to a brand store, which is frequently visited by foreign tourists. And so the question, can these jewelry products become part of organized export?
Тут были представители нескольких компаний, в том числе европейских, которые были откровенны.
There were representatives of a number of companies, including from Europe, who were genuinely surprised that there is this production in Kazakhstan. And they said that our level is absolutely on par with European or American producers, and we can absolutely compete.
И вам можно вполне конкурировать.
Establishment of export channels is part of the prospective plans of the enterprise, and most likely these will include the countries of the far abroad, because access to, for example, the market of Russia is hindered by bureaucratic difficulties, even though within the Eurasian Economic Union, this export-oriented production should bear more potential. What's more, some of Russia's distribution companies have already expressed interest in this enterprise.
Они говорят, у вас такие там шикарные изделия, мы бы хотели торговать ими.
They told us that we have such exquisite items and that they would like to sell them. And we said that we are all for it, but when the point is reached of signing the contracts, it turns out that there are great challenges. Therefore, it is probably easier to sell even somewhere in Europe than in Russia.
Продавать, наверное, легче даже где-то там в Европе, чем в России.
One of the potential export markets is the capital of France. The residents of Paris love to surround themselves with items that have an aesthetic value. They know a thing or two about jewelry which bears the soul of a master, and such items are quite expensive in this Bohemian capital. So Kazakhstan's enterprise will be able to make an offer they cannot refuse. In other words, the prices at which customers in Paris will be able to purchase these exquisite items will be a pleasant surprise for them. But before this happens, Kazakhstan's jewelry enterprise needs to conclude an export delivery contract with a French distribution company. We will not delve into more concrete details so as not to jinx their luck. Natalia Romanenko, Bahadjan Bahriev, exclusively for Single Market.
Рынок без границ.
That's all for today. My name is Pavел Koktyshev. Kind reminder, all the episodes of our program are on www.kazakh-tv.kz. Until next time on Single Market.